welcome to the Everyday Board Game Podcast with your hosts, Daniel.
And Daniel.
Long time no see.
I know, man. What's funny is that this will air after the other stuff we recorded.
Oh, yeah. The other stuff is going to just be popped on
YouTube channel. I got to go over there and edit that, and then I have to go over here and edit this.
That's right.
It's going to be a lot of editing for me.
Yeah, hey, it gives you something to do, you know.
Yeah, a lot to do, actually. Yeah. And the wife's home at the moment, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
So trying to distract myself with work while she's distracting me.
Yeah, right. It's a win-win right there. No, it's cool. Like, so we were on earlier today.
Yes.
And we
case in point, if you guys are listening to this after the fact, because this is the first episode in July, about 2 weeks ago for you guys.
Exactly. So we decided the Stefan Feld City Collection is a collection of games that you and I both own.
Yep.
We both have the deluxe versions.
We love Stefan Feld.
We're big Stefan Feld fans. And we're like, we did this with Phil Walker Harding games way back in the day, a couple years ago.
Before
we played about 30 of them all together.
Yeah, before our criteria.
Yep, exactly. So we're like, all right, now let's try doing all the city games. Like we at first we thought, hey, let's do all of Stefan Feld games.
Yeah.
We're like, nah, you know what? Let's not. But we'll do the cities because those are all part of a series anyways. We'll just do them in order. And we just got our second, the last two, the most recent two.
Yeah.
Not too long ago. So yeah, let's give it a try.
9 and 10.
Number 9 and 10. Chichen Itza and Valencia.
Yeah, so right now we've only played the first two. We're going to try to play possibly two more on tomorrow, which would be a Tuesday, and then see where it goes from there. The first two lasted a little longer than we were expecting, especially the last one. Amsterdam went a little long in the tooth, but that was fun. But today we have an episode for you all that is also just as fun with another designer that we really do enjoy. And like we were saying before the podcast started, we were so sad in 2025 and into the early part of 2026, we didn't do any designers for that year. And so we make up for it.
We were only doing designers.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, let's try new stuff. Let's try artists. Let's try publisher. And then we just completely neglected it.
Now we have two designers that this podcast. This way we make up for last year.
That's right.
The first one, I believe, was like, I forget who it was, but then we also now we're doing a top 8 debate of Matthew Dunstan designs.
That's right.
What is your thoughts on his game designs?
He's a really clever designer. There's certain...
So you say, and then you forget everything he's done.
No, so there are some games that for some reason just create a void in my mind. And I will explain that when I get to them. And I don't know, I'm not saying they're good or bad. It's just for some reason when somebody says, oh, you've played this game. I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, I have, but I can't tell you a thing about it for some reason.
You and me play, but just because of Board Game Arena this year, we've already hit over 200 games.
Yeah, exactly. We play a boatload.
Yeah, we play a lot on Board Game Arena. We actually play a lot together. We played a couple live today.
Yep.
We played several when it's our game night on Wednesday. Yep. So it's like, I'm not surprised.
I have my own game nights, and I learned some other ones. Yeah, it's wild. And so, there's times where we just forget games and whatever. And there's some that are so memorable that it's like, oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember what that did.
Exactly.
Most of these on the list, I kind of remember what they did. For some reason, we just watched one real quick this week and get a review. I'm like, dude, we just played this 2 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
Less than a year ago.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, we had to refresh on a couple of them. But, the way I describe his stuff is that, there's certain designers that I have, keywords for. I would consider Phil Walker Harding streamlined, right? His stuff is super streamlined. It's concise. It's simple. Emerson Matsuuchi is elegant design, right?
Simple too.
And then I consider Rudiger Dorn just a unique designer because his mechanisms are unlike almost anything else.
It's like a mechanism you're kind of familiar with, but he twists it on its head. Istanbul is our best description. It's a pick up and deliver in a sense.
Yeah. But
with resource management, but you're also racing. Yeah.
It's so weird, right? And so what I consider Matthew Dunstan, I think that he's always willing to try new ideas and twist mechanisms that we're familiar with, but give them a cool twist to them. And that will become more obvious when we're talking about those. It's like this. It's familiar, but let me tell you how he added a unique flavor to it. So he's an interesting designer on that aspect. And also, from a game design aspect, because listeners to the podcast know that I do game design, he has a really good channel. and he supports game design like theory, and he talks about a lot of his concepts, and he's really open about like how much he earns as a game designer.
Mm-hmm.
He's open about like problems that he's had and how he approaches it, and how like sometimes it's like, oh, I just don't want a game design. Like, how do you break that motive? And so he gives really cool advice, and I'm a big fan of his channel. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to talk about his stuff because I like seeing it from the game design aspect.
Yeah, and so that you reminded me who the other game designer we did. It was with Gadorn.
Oh,
So
yeah. Yep, right.
we're going to talk about some fun ones here.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a little housekeeping in a sense, since this is airing in July. At the end of this month, we will be at Gen Con. So if you're going to Gen Con, you'll see us.
Come
We'll
say
be
hi.
handing out everyday board game stickers.
That's right.
We'll have some cards. Hopefully, I can get the stickers in time.
Yep.
But yeah, we're going to be there. Come say hi if you see us. We have no problem talking with you all.
Cool.
But with that being said, we have a obligation beforehand. So, Daniel, what have you been playing?
Oh, good question. So I've played a couple of games. One was kind of a weird game. I've been a fan recently of
Weird games.
Yeah. Who knows? There's a company. I think the gentleman's name is Thomas Britton or Tom Britton. He has a company called Gladden Design, and he makes the paper app notebook games. And what these are is they look like a small little like notepad, right?
Mhm.
But they're games that are printed on them. So they have a whole bunch. They had Dungeon, which I wasn't a fan of, but just because it was just kind of random, like you're ping ponging around a dungeon room and you're just hoping for the best. You pick your direction. But then recently, Mattel started printing the golf game that his company makes. And by the way, all of these notebooks are randomly generated.
Okay.
So every notebook you buy is completely unique to you.
Gotcha.
And so when you buy one of these notebooks, like the golf one, you're going to have 3 full 18-hole courses that you play. And you're playing all these holes each page, and you can have a mulligan. There's different terrain features. There's different things you can do. And they all come with a little D6 pencil that you just roll the pencil, and it tells you what number you play with. And that's a clever little idea. So I played one of his more recent ones.
Kind of reminds me of the Roll and Wright's Rainer Knizia.
Yeah, kind of. The Pick-a-Pen series? Yeah, absolutely. But this one, I played his one called Paper Apps Labyrinth. And this is a one-time, you have a map that you don't know, like how the map is laid out. And you have this generated like map that you're kind of going with. And it looks like a point-and-click adventure. So you're going from like one room to another.
Okay.
And they'll tell you, oh, if you go to the right, you go to room 42. Or if you go to this, you go to room 5 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so you just flip to that page. You see what the next one is. All of these are procedurally generated as well. There's like a 2-level map. There's probably a boss battle. Again, I don't want to give like spoilers or anything, but like that's what you're doing.
We don't do that here.
And you're trying to get like loot and all that stuff, and try and get as much money while escaping as you can. And one of the neat things it does is on the very last page, you have a little like fold out thing where it's like 2 extra pages that fold out this way. The left side is your overview map. So as you're piecing together the pages, you're actually building the map and you're learning where all the rooms are, because you can just warp straight to the room. Or on the right side, you keep track of your HP from room to room. You keep track of your loot, your weapons that you gain, all of that stuff. So as you're fighting, it's just a standard like D6 fighting system. And once you're in a battle, you just play it out. You know, you roll, you do what you can. And there's not too much mitigation, but like if you get a shield, the first attack doesn't hit you. If you get like a really upgraded weapon, then you can re-roll one of your attacks or one of the hits or something like that. And it's just a one-time, that's it. That's how you play. And you'll probably die. And that's fine. That's normal. And then you just...
That's a dungeon crawler for you.
Yeah, it's a dungeon crawler. And they even said that it's like, yeah, you're probably going to die. And it's just a fun little system. And I sat and played it for probably about an hour, maybe an hour and a half straight, and played the entirety of it in one sitting.
Nice.
It was really fun. It's like $10. So it's like, whatever. It's not expensive.
Yeah, I have to check it out.
And for a one-time thing, I really enjoyed it. And now I'm starting to look more into his designs. I'm really liking the paper app games. Other than Dungeon, which was a miss for me. But like, yeah, Golf has been awesome, and Labyrinth I can't recommend enough.
Okay, cool. All right, the first game I'm going to talk about is one that you and me played. We got together for some reason, played some games because
For some reason.
I don't remember what the reason was, but we got together. I think you were off, and we just wanted to play a couple games, or a few games, and we played quite a bit of games. Got a few games off our shelves of shames.
Yep.
This one has been sitting on my shelf of shame for a while, and we got this played. This was Penny Black from Dylan Mangini and Aaron Mesburn from Buffalo Games. And man, this is a fun little drafting game. Yeah. And now I have Stamp Swap, and I enjoy that one from Stonemaier.
I still didn't play that one.
But this one is just fine too. For its price point, I can have both of them. They do drafting a little bit differently. Sure. With Stamp Swap, it's a pick it. I split, you choose draft, and this one is just random. It's like, oh, I'm first player, I can pick first kind of thing. But then you have that one where a Penny Black comes out. It's the only one on that thing. Yep. And then whatever's left over gets split between the two empty ones until something happens. And so, yeah, I did enjoy that. It's a fun little draft. The component quality for this game that is relatively inexpensive, I think at most is $30.
Yep.
You can find it on deals sometimes. I think Barnes & Noble's right now is clearing to get out, so you could pick it up for $10, $15 if you get a chance. Yeah.
Good production, Buffalo Games.
Yeah, it's such a fantastic game. It's got some great little simple turns. You're playing over just a certain amount of rounds. I think it's 3 rounds, 4 rounds, something like that. Yeah, it's got a great price point. The component quality is great. It's got like these clay bake tiles that are the stamps that you're putting into your board. You have 2 parts of your stamp, so you're trying to be like, oh, I can't put any squares in here because I'm trying to get this thing, but I also need to cover the edges, so I got to figure out which one works better. And then you have another scoring on the other side, and then you got your Penny Black, so you want to group them with a large group of certain colors because you're going to multiply that point total too. It's really neat what it does. I really did enjoy it, and like I said, I'm going to keep this in my collection even though I have Stamp Swap because they're fine. They're both drafting stamp collecting games, but they play a little different, which I like.
Yeah.
Penny Black.
Cool. And last one I want to talk about is a game that I had on my shelf of shame for quite some time, and we sold it at our local shop, and since I run the game demos there, I was like, okay, it's about time I get this off the shelf.
Yeah.
This is for almost exactly 4 players, and I say almost because you could play it in a different way. This is called Mission Control Critical Orbit. And the idea of this is that one player is playing as the Mercury 3 spaceship that hit warp drive and damaged their ship and blah, blah, blah. Doesn't really matter. But one player plays as the spaceship that is running out of oxygen, and you have 20 minutes to get them that oxygen back. This is you've played Captain Sonar, right?
No.
Okay, then never mind. No. No. So Captain Sonar is like real-time battleship.
Yeah.
This is real-time cooperative, except it's a roll and write game. One player plays as the spaceship, the other are 3 cities. No, you would think so. You would think so, but it's
real time rolling. Yeah, it made me think
real time cooperative rolling. You would think so, but no, it's not. But what's cool is that it's all asymmetric. One team is Mercury. They're the ones who have to piece these tiles together and create a loop from certain colored cylinders on their grid of tiles.
Almost kind of reminds me of what they had to do for Apollo 13, where they had to see what parts are on that thing to fix their scrubber or something like that.
Yep, exactly. It's stuff like that. Yeah. And so if you're able to get enough oxygen molecules set up in a single pipeline, then or amongst multiple pipelines of connecting 2 different things together, then you win as a group. But here's the thing, those cylinders are around the board and they're a random setup. So they're pretty inconveniently placed, which is on purpose. But secondly, some of the tiles have little valves that you need those valve tokens in order to get it. So there's 3 other players other than Mercury. There's one player who's Houston, where they're going to be playing a little roll and write game, trying to build the grids of the tetromino pieces that you're actually going to be gaining from Mercury.
Okay.
There's one that are filling out charts and stuff that will eventually unlock the cylinders. And then there's the last one where you're kind of playing a Sudoku screen where they're able to get the valve pieces because some of them are not very good.
Yeah.
So all of these players, what happens is the Mercury 3 player takes 3 dice, they roll it, announce the dice to the players, and then they choose after the players discuss or make recommendations or requests or whatever, 2 of those dice that all players have to write on their board. The last die goes to the Mercury 3 player who just moves down a track, and you're just doing that until you guys have made enough turns and made enough progress where the Mercury 3 player can do it. It was fun. It was really fun. And I mean, it was super cool how asymmetric it was. It was cool. It actually worked pretty well. And the thing I was worried about, and the reason it's on my shelf of shame for so long, is because there's not a clear like how to play video online. There's
Yeah.
gameplay video online, which watching like one people roll dice like, all right, 3 and a 4, go, and then everyone's like, that doesn't show you how to play it, right?
Yeah.
And so I might end up for the channel like making a how to play video, because this game needs a how to play video
Yeah.
that's structured in a good way.
Works for me.
Yeah, so I might do that. I don't know, just because like it took me so long to learn the game because there was so lack of video
Yep.
footage. And so, but now that we've been demoing on the shop, people have been like, "Oh yeah, this is dope." Right. So, Mission Control, Critical Orbit.
All right, the last game I'm going to talk about is one that we played when it was my pick before I left on my trip. It's one that that I just recently got, that I was like, I'm going to try this. You were like, I want to try this one too. I've been interested in this one. And both of us were like, I'm glad I own it. I'm glad I played it. I don't know if I will end up keeping it. It's something I have to play again. This is Dark Pact from Thomas Lehman and Trick or Treat Studios. It's an interesting concept on a deck building. It's where you're trying to build your deck to specifically work for you for a goal that you end up getting during the game. And so you could either draft a new goal for the game, or you could start with the goal of the game, which they recommend when you're first playing it. But there's cards that you're buying like a normal deck builder that will become goals for you to try to get. And there's like 13 packs, and you're trying to be the first one to hit a pact. Or if you run out of the deck, I think is the other way it happens, and then you score up your points minus your negative points that you'll get out of the cards. I thought it was cool. I thought it was an interesting game. I like the concept of, you're doing this, and it's a race to finish your goal. We all have like this almost asymmetric, not really, starting hand that's all different, but it makes it easy setup. I have to give them that. It's like, you're playing 3 players, then use these cards, and you separate it accordingly in each part of the box, in the insert in the box. I think that's fantastic. It is an interesting deck builder. I love the art style on it because it's so unique and so different. However, this game has two major flaws, really. It overstays its welcome because it takes a while for you to start building the deck that you want to do, for you to start triggering all these powers that happen. I love the multipliers in that game. I love where you're like, hey, I do this, and it just multiplies all your numbers that are on that card. And then you can multiply the multiplier. So I could put 2 times 3 with each other, and now I'm getting 9 money because I put my 3 coin on there. So I like that concept, or like 18 money, something like that. It's weird. But it's a race to the thing. My other issue is the artwork is great, but man, is it text heavy on some of those cards, where it's small, minute text. So I have to bust out my cheater glasses just to read what's on there. And I like the game. I think it's fantastic, and I like its concept. I just wished it was streamlined a little bit more, or played a little quicker, because in a 3-player game, it was still nearly 2 hours for us to complete that game. And that's not even including the teach. Add 30 minutes to the teach to explain how the cards actually work. It was 2.5 hours.
Who are familiar with deck building.
Yeah, it was
very familiar.
2.5 hours for a deck building game that is in the size of the box, like Immortal right here. And so it is just like that normal Trick or Treat card style box. And it took a lot. It was a bit of a chore. I do enjoy it. I do want to play it again. I want to like it a lot more than I do right now. But like I said, it really overstayed its welcome. I figured I might bust it out again with the group that already played it, kind of know how to play it, just to see if it helps with the length of time and stuff like that. Because once you get used to it over and over again, but like when I play a card game, I don't want it taking 2.5 hours, especially when it's a deck building game. But yes, it was Dark Pact from Thomas Lehman and Trick or Treat Studios. I liked it, but I didn't love it.
Cool. All right, so let's get into Matthew Dunstan games. What you asked me earlier, what is your thoughts on his designs?
I actually like a lot of his designs. In fact, every game on this list, I actually really enjoy. There's like one that I'm kind of ambivalent to. One I used to own, and just it's fine. And not his designs itself. Some of these games I have issues with, but it's not on the design part of it. It's based on the production value, especially our big one here that we're going to get into. But I do like his games. And he does a lot of co-designs. A lot of these games that are on this list are co-designs with Brett J. Gilbert or Phil Walker Harding. that kind of thing. So I like it when two designers I like work together and they do fantastic jobs. And you're like sitting there like, okay, I see where this one comes from and I can see whose idea this one is. But yeah, I really do enjoy his games. I haven't done any of the roll and writes from his company. What, Postmark, I think is what they're called.
I've done a few of them. I have 52 Duels. I have a few others. But yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, I've been intrigued by them, but I just haven't done any of them right now. Because didn't he just release another one like 52 Fighters or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. It's 52
Duel?
Something. Is it 52 Duel?
Something like that, yeah. But his stuff looks interesting.
Realms.
Yeah,
was the old one.
The number one game we enjoy a lot, but we'll talk about it when it happens. Yeah. But there we have an issue with it.
That's right. We have some honorable mentions, and as well as we posted online on Facebook on the Board Game Revolution group. And make sure you check it out there. By all means, vote for your favorites because this is where we do tiebreakers. Let's talk about our honorable mentions. We'll go by the online ones first.
Yep, just pulling it up right now.
Yep. So, other than the 8 that we added, which actually, let's go over that list real quick.
Okay, yeah.
We have our number 1 seed, Guild of Merchant Explorers.
Versus our 8 seed, Scorpius Freighter. This is one we had to look up because we haven't played that one in a while.
Yep, it's been a minute. Our number 2 seed, Elysium.
This is one that escapes your brain all the time.
It does.
In number 7 seed, Roll for Adventure.
Yep. Our number 3 seed, Pioneer Days.
Versus the number 6 seed, Relic Runners.
And our number 4 seed, Adventure Games, The Dungeon.
Versus our number 5 seed, My Shelfie. And now, again, when we do our top 8 to date, if it's a series of games, we just take the highest ranked series. Because I believe the number 2 or 3 one could have made this list, but we only take the one.
Yeah.
That's why Scorpius Freighter jumped on the list. But yeah, I enjoy a lot of these games. Mm-hmm. There is actually some hidden gems on this list I was looking at here just when we were going through that. Roll for Adventure is a hidden gem.
Yep.
Pioneer Days, and they'll talk about it on the chat as well, as a hidden gem.
Yep.
And another one that just kind of fell off too, the adventure games. They started off strong and just kind of fell off.
Yeah, which apparently in Europe they're really
big.
Strong
yeah, they're
still.
really big over there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Cool. These are actually some fun games that I've enjoyed playing.
Well, let's talk about their honorable mentions that we put online since you referenced it earlier. Other than those 8 that we just added, somebody added Lemuel, forgive me, I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, Monumental Duel.
I do have Monumental. I haven't played Monumental Duel, or Monumental for that matter. Mm-hmm. I heard Monumental Duel actually really plays pretty well for 2-player game.
Yeah.
The next one added by Paul Solomon, board game designer. Mm-hmm. So we're used to this now. He added one that you were talking about, Next Station London, Tokyo, and Paris. We just didn't get a chance to play it.
Yep. And then Paul Solomon also added Waypoints, which is one of the Postmark games.
Yeah. And it's funny, we mentioned his last name because he's a board game designer, and we like to, flex a little bit, but board game designers talk about our stuff.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
But yeah, those are some fantastic picks. All 3 of those I have not played.
I played one of them.
I'm going to say Next Station. That's the one you played.
I played that one.
Yeah. But with that being said, let's get into our honorable mentions. You want to flip?
What about the comments?
Oh yeah, the comments.
Yeah, there's plenty of comments.
Now let's do this real quick. This way we can get it from top to bottom.
So Board Game Nook added why they voted for what they voted for. They said, oh, never mind.
There you go.
Corey said Guild of Merchant Explorers is top tier, played like 60 times last year.
That's amazing. Thomas added Pioneer Days is a hidden gem. And he's telling us to ask another person.
Yep. Ginger said Elysium, then Pioneer Days.
Which we do enjoy Pioneer Days. Mm-hmm. It's a hidden gem from Tasty Minstrel.
Yes.
Board Game Nook, this is what you were talking about. He had to go with Elysium. We played that game when it first came out many years ago. It was an instant hit with our group. Unfortunately, it was a game that really could have used a little expansion content, and I think it would still be highly popular today. And Pioneer Days is also amazing and went under the radar, which we were just talking about.
Yep. Simon says, I've only played Guild of Merchant Explorers, and I'm quite shocked that it's leading the poll as I felt it was entirely forgettable.
And then Jared added, he only has played and owns Elysium.
Yep. So, what about our honorable mentions? Let's find that out right now. Let's start off with you.
That's heads.
Yeah. I was just reiterating what you were saying. But yeah, Next Station London is the one that I picked because it was nominated for the Spiel. So therefore I was like, I need to buy it now, and I played it. I get why. It's really clever. It uses there's only one bad production part about it, is that it uses colored pencils. You could use markers, that's fine, but they use those colors on purpose, and that's because you're connecting certain stations to certain stations amongst different rail lines. If you've seen a rail line map, or any subway system map, you see all the different colors and you see how that system is supposed to work. And this kind of reiterates that. Every spot that you have has a bunch of different shapes. The next card you flip over, it's a flip and right.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone moves from one of their two endpoints on their station to one that's connected of that shape. So if a circle comes up, you have to aim towards a circle. And you can go as long as you need to, as long as you don't hit anything else, which is pretty cool. So you're making all these different lines, but what makes it really neat is that the cards, the pencils are transferred between players. So I might be playing the blue pencil right now, and then I'm going to pass it to you next turn. And we're going to keep doing that. So we're using the same cards, but we're using different lines to do it. Different starting points, and then therefore different paths will be built up. It's a really clever system of adding replayability to something that's simple. Again, I wish there was a better way to do it color-wise. But yeah, I like it a lot. Next Station London.
All right, the first game I'm going to talk about is co-designed with Phil Walker Harding. We have its predecessor on this list, but I did want to talk about this one because this is my favorite of the things. The Island was my least favorite. The one we're talking about is my second favorite, which I thought was really good, which made me go to this one, which is Adventure Games Monochrome Inc. This one is like a Ocean's 11. You're in this thing, you're trying to cause a heist and stuff like that. I really did enjoy that one a lot. We've played through the mess of it. We went through it all, and we're like, okay, dungeon was great. This was just spectacular for us. So we went to the island, and then it was a nosedive for us for that one. And so, but Monochrome Inc. I'm sorry, because I was looking at Monumental over here.
Monumental, yeah.
Yeah. It was such a fantastic version of this game that we liked it a lot. I love the puzzles aspect of it. I love the adventure games, and we'll talk about it when we get into the dungeon and stuff like that, because it kind of reminds you of those point and click adventures back in the day when you played on the computer in the olden days for the younger group out there, where you're just like, oh, I got these two things. Let's see if I can combine them. And you go read something. It's like, oh, wow, they do work. And I love that aspect of it. I thought it was a fantastic style of games, and it brought forth a lot to it that we haven't seen in the board game world. And I'm sad that that system kind of tailored off for me, because I didn't like the way the island worked. It just, man, I really did like Monochrome Inc. So I keep seeing Monumental because that's the big game right now that everybody's talking about on here. Duel, I think is what they said. But yeah, Monochrome Inc. Fantastic game.
Cool. My number 2 is a game that you don't like, and I get why people don't like it, but there's a lot of people who do, because it's an easy price point, easy to get into, but it is app assisted. This is Echoes, and what this is really doing, it's not really much of a game. It's more just like this. No, I mean, I get why you don't like it, but the reason I find it so clever is because it's just a one and done, a little adventure. Like, oh well, I need to figure out a whole story based on sound, and I'm hearing like basically an audio play out in fragments. I'm scanning this artifact. It's giving me a fragmented piece of this storyline. I'm not going just by like, oh, well, there's the sound at the end of this clip, so therefore I need to find the sound at the starting of this clip. No, not really. It's all context. So you're trying to piece together this mystery of a story as you're scanning these cards, and it's just a really lovely little system, super simple, and I've just enjoyed every time I've played it.
That's if the app works correctly. That was my big issue, is my app was not working.
So I can understand that, but again, I can't blame the designer for that, right? It's
I could blame the app designer.
You can blame the app designer. Yeah, and I mean, they're trying to like pick out like a picture recognition through the app, right? Because it's trying to figure out what the shape is, or what the thing is, what part to queue up. Mm-hmm. So it's tricky to do, but regardless of that, when it works really well in my eye. Again, it's a one and done. Take that as you leave it. In my ear, yeah, right? The theater of the mind, right? No, I found it a really clever system. As soon as I heard about it, I'm like, I'm in 100%, and I played it, and I'm like, cool. And because I play a lot of escape rooms, so one and done don't bother me anymore. Yeah. And this is a cheap price point. It's like $10 in the US, so whatever, right? It's worth it to play for $10. I've played. I just talked earlier about Paper Apps Labyrinth that I played for $10, and I just played the whole thing all in one go. So
Yeah.
there is that.
Yeah, it's fine. Like I said, my app wasn't working very well. I tried to re-download and stuff like that. I couldn't get it to play certain sounds that I needed it to play.
Oh, see, I can understand that. That's super
and so it's just
frustrating.
frustrating.
Sure.
So I was like, not worth it for me. I sold it immediately. It's like, whatever. I like it when apps work, like
Yes.
the unlock system. The apps work fine.
Yep.
I think it's the same line, right? No, that's Cosmos.
No, that's Space Cowboy.
Yeah.
And then Ravensburger.
Ravensburger is the other one,
yes.
yeah. But so yeah, that was my big issue with it, is that the app wasn't working, especially the music box one.
Yep.
I was having so much trouble with the app, and I thought it was fair to Midland.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so my next game I'm going to talk about is one, again, that is currently on our list, but it's a re-implementation of it. We've only played this on Board Game Arena, and I liked what it did there. I love the theme of that one as well, because we're archaeologists trying to display dinosaurs in our thing. This is First Giants, a co-design with Brett J. Gilbert, and I can't remember who, Space Cowboys, I think, is the one that did this one.
Yes, I think so.
So it's one of those, but it's a fantastic game. It just came out. It streamlined Elysium a little bit better. I still prefer Elysium over this one. I liked what it did. It actually has a good implementation on Board Game Arena, so if you want to check it out, it's there. I think it's great. I like the concept. They took away the colored pillars that Elysium has, and you're just using your 4 fossil tokens, but you can only go into one section each, the draft cards, or you could recall them and then try to display your dinosaurs and stuff like that. It's fantastic, and it scores the same way as Elysium. I like that concept, and I think it's good. So if you think Elysium is a little too heady or it's got too many moving parts, then check out First Giant, because it's going to be a lot simpler than Elysium, and I liked it. But since I own Elysium, I really don't need to go out of my way to get First Giants.
Sure. And the last one I want to talk about is just a fun, small little card game. This is Minecraft Explorers. Not a fan of the video game. I don't really care. Like, I mean, I don't dislike it. I just don't ever play it. I have a number of people, like my son, one of my best friends. They're massive Minecraft fans.
My wife.
Yeah, your wife. Yeah, I mean that's cool. You guys can play it. I'm totally fine with that. But this, for being like an $8 card game, awesome. Like, it's awesome. It's a cooperative card game. You're all working together. It's an action point selection. You have to do a bunch of different things. You have to explore the biomes. You have to find the creepers that are building up. You have to beat them down without letting them get out of hand. It has a lot of those, like, if you leave something too long, it's going to be a real problem. But there are times where you're like, I can't do everything right now, so I'm going to have to leave this alone for now. Let's hope that doesn't become a problem. And there's that tension, and it's cool. And the action mechanism is really simple. You just have a hand of cards. It's like 7 or 8 cards or something like that.
Yeah.
And those are your action points. And as you spend them, you just hand them to the next player. You're like, all right, I'm spending 3 points to do this. Let me do that. All right, I'm spending 2 points, and now I don't have anything else. All right, now it's your turn. Now that I have a hand of cards. Really simple. Like, I like it. It's good. Great price point. Good game in it. If you're a Minecraft fan, you'll probably like the game itself. Having played it with my son, he enjoyed it a lot. We played it a number of times. Yeah, it's just awesome. So, Minecraft Explorers.
All right, the last game on my honorable mention is a game I haven't played, but I do own, and it intrigues me a lot, and I need to get it off my shelf of shame. And this is Monumental, I kept looking at that and looking at this, Monochrome Ink and Monumental. Yeah, it's a rough. But it's like an area control, but it's a mechanism that intrigues me, because it's deck building and you're putting out a grid and you're either triggering one line or the other line, and you're taking everything out of that line and then you're wiping it. So you have a grid of a 3x3 and you're only triggering 3 cards out of that line, but those 3 cards are gone now, and you're going to get new set of cards into that section over there.
Yep.
And it's deck building, so you're trying to buy cards over there, but you're also doing a little area control over here. It is designed by Matthew Dunstan from FunForge. What's funny is this is the game that I think kind of killed FunForge for the longest time, because they did a Kickstarter and COVID happened and they were struggling to get like the expansions and stuff that out there, and people were just not having it.
Yep.
This is the game that actually forced them to sell like Tokaido to Stonemaier.
Yeah.
And everything that's involved with that. And they had a lot of trouble with a lot of their back stuff. Like the G.A.M.E. took a lot of time to get out there. And so But yeah, everything about this game says I'm going to like it. Everything about Monumental Duel that people are talking about says I'm probably going to like it. But I want to play this at a bigger player group because I don't play a lot of 2-player games. It's usually when you're on summer break or spring break and we play 2-player games, or it's just you and me at
Pretty
game
rare.
night. Yeah, which is very rare. I'm mostly playing 3 to 4 player games.
Yeah.
And so that's why I want to get Monumental to the table. And it's also a bit of a longer game. That's why it's been hesitant, because we're trying to do that for like our all-day Sunday games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This way we have more time involved. We need to get one of those up again here soon. But yeah, Monumental looks really cool. I love the fact that it's also kind of Civilization style, where I'm playing like the Africans, you're playing the Romans or Egyptians, stuff like that. I think that's really neat in the fantasy kind of aspect of it too. That's why I want to get to the table. But Monumental looks really good for me.
Cool. All right, so let's get into today's debate. We have our gamer criteria. We're going to tell you how we put this together. The way we get the list of these 8 games, the ones that we listed earlier, is we go on BoardGameGeek.com. We get what is currently the highest ranked 8 games that Daniel and I have both played. That, of course, with the exception of the ones that either one of us or neither of us have played.
Yeah,
that's why
we both have to play it.
Yeah, because we got to make a sound argument for it. We used to do it back in the day. I remember that.
Yeah, we're
like,
we're
I'll
going.
take your word on that.
We're going over that again.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've already done one. We're going to do another one in October. So
yep, exactly. So we're going to be redoing some of those with some new games, and this is the first time we've ever debated Matthew Dunstan games.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am looking forward to it. Absolutely. And then so we have our gamer criteria, patent pending gamer criteria. That stands for game immersion. First off, game immersion is the game fun to lose, player interaction, whether that's table talk or role playing, and memorable moments.
Next up, we have art and production, the A&R gamer. The art, self-explanatory, and it is a bit subjective, but some of the stuff is better than others. The pieces and components, again, another subjective one, but we want stuff that makes sense for what we're trying to do. In the most important part of this, the graphic design. You and me are both colorblind, and there is a game on this list that we struggle playing physically because it's so hard for us to see what's going on.
We'll get to that point when we get to it.
But Board Game Arena is really good for that.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm talking about. Then
next, the G.A.M.E.R gamer is meaningful choice, impacting other players' strategies or impact on other players' gameplay, depth of strategy, tactics, and or skills, and do arbitrary choices or AP negatively impact the game, which I don't think we'll be arguing that too much today.
No. So in the last part, or not the E in gamer, not the last part, but E in gamer, we have ease of play, simplicity and familiarity of the mechanism, the likelihood to get to the table, i.e. through the mechanism or the theme, and is it easy to learn, understand, and or teach.
And our actual last one is replay value, the R in gamer, and that is the length of time and scaling well, minimum number of plays to experience the full game, the full experience, and our expandability, already existing expansions or ones that have been announced by the publisher or the designer.
Yep. And when it all said and done, and if we cannot come to a consensus, that's why it's important for you to go join the Board Game Revolution group on Facebook. We put a poll there every time we do a topic debate. Your vote moves the game on.
Cool. So we're going to be starting with our first and last ranked game, Guild of Merchant Explorers versus Scorpius Freighter. As always, I'll be flipping the coin of doom. Daniel will pull from the cup of doom, and we will argue our side now with our new 2-minute argument clock.
All right, you ready? I have my cup of doom already ready and loaded.
That was me.
All right, you get Scorpius Freighter.
Okay.
Well, thank God we just...
Thankfully we reviewed it, because it's just slightly not as familiar with me
this is the one we haven't played in quite a long time.
Yes, so in my defense. All right, so I'm ready when the timer when you are. All right, so Scorpius Freighter by AEG and, of course, by Matthew Dunstan design. I don't remember if it's a co-design, forgive me if it is. But this game, this is basically 3 separate rondels. It's a pick-up, deliver, contract fulfillment, shipbuilding game. What this does is that you will have your own spaceship. You'll be floating the spaceship along the path, orbiting 3 different planets. When you get to certain locations, you'll be able to pick up resources, and you're trying to fulfill different contracts that are literally called contracts on there. When you get certain resources from those, you will be pulling contracts. You have to pay for at least one of them, but you can pay for more if you can afford it. As you're building them, they are worth points, and they will also give you extra abilities later on. As you complete them, you slot them into the side of your board. One of the coolest parts about this game, and this was the part that I really, I think is the best part about it, is the production value. We commented because we had forgotten about the board. The spaceship boards are like a triple layered board. It's a dual layered on each side that holds the tiles. So as you're building your ship up, you're adding tiles to the board and you're building out from that spot. And they hold in because they have extra little bits of cardboard with like grooves in them. So that way they hold the tiles inside. But since you can use either side of the board, they had to do that on both sides. So it's kind of a triple layered board. It's a really lovely production part of it. I got to give AEG props for that. Also, the ships that you're moving around, those are really high quality as well. I do remember vaguely the game, and I don't remember exactly why, but I remember there was a lot of points of frustration when we were playing it.
Especially when they tax you.
Yeah, like when you tax it. Yeah, there's certain locations where you just get a ship to a spot where you have to pay your resources. So you're building up, and when you take away fun stuff, then you take it away. And I remember there's a number of instances where that was the only move I could make, and you guys just grinned at me. So I was like, okay, what can I do?
Yeah, I remember that. The grinning part of it.
Yeah.
But yes, I can understand the frustration because it frustrated almost everybody at that table, except for when we did it to you because we played the rule of kill the wizard first.
Yep. It's funnier that way.
All right. I get to argue our number one seed, the Guilds of Merchants Explorers. Here we go. Now, for the Guilds of Merchants Explorers, I think this is by far one of the best games on this list for a reason. We do enjoy playing this game, but it has one major inherent flaw. The graphic, you know how you're talking about the art and production in Scorpius Raider? This is the opposite. For the same publisher, this is the opposite. This is by far one of the worst ones. I get what they were going for. They were trying to make it look like a map. They were trying to make it look like those old school maps because it's in essence it's you're putting cubes on the board of your player board and you're getting special powers and it's really neat what it's doing. You and me couldn't see anything on that board. No. We would have to ask Damn It Dom and be like, hey, what color is this? Okay, that's brown. So that's what we're trying to trigger? Yes. Okay, so that's the brown. And they have some stuff that can kind of help you on the board because of a different design. It is so small that we struggle with it. It is like, oh, it's so hard to see. However, even though I am hammering the game I'm arguing for just on that aspect, everything else is so good. And this is why it struggled for me because the meaningful choices there, you're like, okay, I got to do this. Do I want to build in that area or do I want to go off this way? Because you're building off the cubes you've already put on the board and it gives you that fantastic meaningful choice. The replay value is going to give you a little bit of difference because there's going to be changes as you're going. I think there might be an expansion for it. I don't remember, but the game immersion is there. You're having a fun time. I played this game twice, 3 times or something like that. I've lost once and I still had a good time no matter what we played. The impact on other player strategy is kind of there, but there is that depth in the strategy. There's very rarely AP. It is actually a very simple game to play. It was probably one of the easiest games to teach and understand on this list. It's because it's like, this comes up and you're putting your cubes in this section. That is it. And then you're triggering points based on this and that. And then when we go into the next round, you're going to get a special power that's going to help you going on. And so it gives you a lot of that. I honestly love this game.
Okay. All right. So we're going to think about our gamer criteria in our head. But I do have one that I think is already... I'm ready to move
I have my
on.
pick, all right.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Guild of Merchants Explorers. Yep. Yep, I agree. And just because, like, everything you said, it is a very fun game. It's enjoyable. It's just that one thing that I think is going to hinder it during our debates.
Yeah, and it's just because it's so hard for us to see it. It's just like...
Yep. All right, our next round is going to be Elysium versus Roll for Adventure.
I know which one you're hoping for.
I know which one I'm hoping for.
You get it, too.
Yes. Yes, this is my second favorite.
Honestly, I have no problem with you getting this because you champion this game like there's no tomorrow.
I will be happy to do so. Because I will make my argument right now.
All right, so you ready?
Yep. All right. Roll for Adventure. By Thames and Cosmos or Cosmos Games. This game is a cooperative, dice chucking, fun, enjoyable time. Your board is made up of 4 tiles that are triangular that are set up together. You can use either side of it. You have some lovely little skull pieces that you're moving down as tokens, and you have a bunch of cards that are monsters that go into the 4 different regions. Um, the way it works is that you are going to be rolling those dice, trying to assign them to the different regions. Anything that you can't assign sometimes gets thrown into the void, which is unfortunate until you have 10 or more, then you can pull them back, or 10 or more total like pips value.
Yeah.
You have different abilities that you can each use. Each character is unique. It's kind of like fantasy dungeon crawl. And at the end of your turn, you have to pull some bad stuff, which will trigger monsters that are around it. It does that same thing that I was telling you about, where if you leave something too long, it will get out of hand. So it's an ever growing problem that you're trying to mitigate throughout the entirety of the game. But while also, if you're just fighting the monsters the whole time, well, then you're ignoring the objective in different ways to get points. I really like how one of the boards gives it, they each have different numbers, like 1s, 2s, and 3s that has its own set, or 1s and 2s, I believe, is like you're moving on this track. One of them is like you're trying to get like sets of 4 of them, and then you can unlock like a little gate. Another one is 5 or 6s. You're trying to string together the same number together, and it's either 5 or 6s, and you're going on this other track, and you're trying to unlock a certain number of gems before the end of the game. Now, the production is actually really good. The dice are really beautiful. The pieces are great. There's a couple little tokens that are just a little too small, in my opinion, but that's the only negative part of it. Very colorblind friendly. They pick great colors, beautiful art, and it's just a really good time for a really simple thing, and it works really well cooperatively. This is my second favorite game on this list, by far.
All right, I get to argue Elysium, which is probably my second favorite game on this list. Or at least my second favorite theme. All right, Elysium. We don't have a lot of Greek mythology games, so I'm glad this is on the list here. That the theme itself is by far my favorite, if not my second favorite. No, this is actually my favorite theme on this list. No, don't get me wrong. I love Roll for Adventure. I love a good kind of a dungeon crawl, kind of a fighting the monster as an RPG style. Roll some dice, chuck some dice. It's always fun. The luck value on that can be a little problem. You have a little bit of mitigation, but you don't have a lot of issue. This one, you're trying to get characters into your tableau by doing some action select, not card selection, card drafting. You're spending your color tokens. You have a red, a yellow, a blue, and a green, and you're spending those to draft cards, or you're spending those to pick first or whatnot when you're going through the thing. So when we play it, I have a great time with it because I was like, oh, do I want to use this blue to get that thing? But I also need to use this to go first in the next round. But if I go first, I'm not going to be able to get these cards down into my bottom because the cards that you draft, when you get them in your thing, at the top, you can use their abilities. Mm-hmm. But then you have to score them down to your bottom to get your points. And you're scoring them either based on the family, so all the blue cards in a sense, or by the number. And the bigger the family, the more points you get, and the most points at the end of the game wins. And I love that concept. It's like, ooh, I really want this power. I got this power in front of me, but I really need this down here to complete my set. Because it's like, I need that last Zeus card to get me that set. And it's like, but he's got such a good power. When do I want to pull that trigger and stuff like that? So it is a fantastic game. I have a blast with it. The art style is great. I love the look of this game. The chunky components are great. The little pillars and stuff like that. But this is such a tough one. The theme is by far the most unique theme on this list, really. Because, again, we don't see a lot of Greek mythology lists. And you're basically drafting gods.
Okay. All right. I know which one I think should move on.
I'm going to look through this real quick.
Yeah, no problem. So I'll just be talking that over. So again, this is when we discuss our gamer criteria. We have game immersion, art and production, meaningful choice, ease of play, and replay value. Whichever one gets the majority of those 5, I think.
I got it.
Which one? Moving on?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. 3, 2, 1. Roll for adventure. Yes.
I had 3 to 2. That's how I scored it.
Same. Is yours meaningful choice and replay value for Elysium?
Yes.
Yeah. Same. Because I'm like, the cooperative nature makes it easier. The production value is just slightly better because of the pearlescent dice, the skulls, like it's just stuff like that.
Though I will say I like the art more in Elysium. I love the Cyclops look and stuff like that.
Yeah. They're both really good. Because I like the monsters, honestly, in Roll for Adventure.
Yeah.
They're a little more generic, but like it shows the theme, but it's still like I don't know. I just adore that game. I really
No,
do.
I don't disagree, and I think it's great too. But I like Elysium a lot as
Yeah.
well. So,
All right, Pioneer Days versus Relic Runners. These are big boys. Here we go.
Days of
I'm
Wonders.
starting off again.
All right, that coin likes you, and you get Pioneer Days.
Okay. Cool.
I'll get the starter here in a minute. I just got to get these out of my way.
Ready to go. All right, Pioneer Days from Tasty Minstrel Games. I don't think it's been republished. It's a shame that it hasn't because this is my favorite game on this whole list. I adore this game. It's a dice drafting action mechanism game. What makes it so cool is that each of the dice have different values. You roll them all, and the colors correspond to one of the catastrophes that may happen. It's an old Western theme, which honestly isn't used enough, in my opinion. And the way it works is that you roll a certain number of dice, everyone takes one, you do the action. Your action can be one of like three things. If you pick up the action based on the symbol, you're either going to get like wood, you're going to trade stuff, or you're going to build part of your wagon convoy, you're going to do all this different stuff, maybe get medicine to deal with it, or you're going to get it for the money that's above it as well. So the better the action, the more money it is. Or you're going to get it for the card that's underneath it, which will give you special abilities. But if you don't have enough medicine, those guys might die. Or if you don't have enough wood, then your wagon might break down. Or all these other things because of the impending disasters that may happen. And what's great about it is it all boils down to right at the end of it, when the last player has 2 dice to choose from, they're choosing which disaster is going to progress. There's weather, there's disease, there's all that stuff. It feels like Oregon Trail, the board game, and it works really well.
Better than Oregon Trail, the board game.
Way better, right? And it's a beautiful production. It's a great theme. It's super immersive. Those stand-up moments really matter in this more than almost any other game on this list, is when you're like, whoa, okay. And the best part is like the black die, that if you don't draft that one, all of the disasters move up. So you might trigger more than one disaster. So you're so nervous about it. Like, all right, like I'm going to have to fix my wagon pretty soon. Let me get some wood. Let me get this. Oh, man, but now the disease is going. And it's just building up. It's so clever, so fun. Pioneer Days, love it.
So what I will say about Pioneer Days, it does what some of the other games that we played, like Empire's Inn, where it's like you're trying to survive disasters, the best than what we've tried surviving
because
disasters.
it's not just like beating people down. It's just a problem everyone has to deal with it.
I also remember your son trolling us so much and making us decide the black die.
Yep, he loved doing that.
All right, so I get to argue Relic Runners, which, what's funny, this is another game we had to remember. And it's also another game we relatively played in the last couple years. Yeah. All right, here we go. Talk about gorgeous. This is by far, because it's Days of Wonder, one of the best looking games on this list. I think there's one that can really give it its run for the money, which we haven't talked about yet. But this one is just fantastic. The pieces and components are great. The graphic design is very legible and easy to read for a game that came out 10, 15 years ago, something like that. So it is fantastic looking. My issue is which one is easier to play, because both of these are just like, you're going this way, you're running your character and you're spending resources to run the character, and you're collecting temple pieces that could give you special powers, a little asymmetrical stuff depending on which ones you're picking up. The trickiest part of Relic Runners is trying to figure out the best possible path to get you from one relic to the other, for you could pick up the relic, which is going to give you the more points, because they're worth 5 points or something like that, and then if you get different sets of them, they're going to give you a lot more. So if you get all 4 types of relics, you get more points. And I like that aspect. This is probably for me one of the more weaker Days of Wonders, though. I do enjoy the game. I think it's a good game, and it's simple as all get up. There is some good choices in this one. I do remember having fun playing this one. It is not one of my favorites, but I do like it. I just don't know where I don't know. Does it have an expansion? I can't remember. Not that I know of. But just like Pioneer Days, this one went under the radar too. Yes. So this is kind of interesting how we got to argue here, but I think I'm actually done. I know which one I think I'm moving on.
Cool. All right. Well, let's get into our vote. You already know yours?
Mm-hmm.
I know mine as well. It's a 3-2. 3, 2, 1. Pioneer Days.
Pioneer Days. That was my pick. Yeah, I was reading Relic Runners as I
Oh,
was.
okay. Okay.
No, it is Pioneer Days. I think it's 3-2. I think the art production is better in Relic Runners,
It
and
needs to play.
it needs a play. That's what. But I'm also I'm kind of torn because Pioneer Days is not.
No, but there's so many more moving parts. There's so many things to consider. Dice drafting, in each die symbol having 3 different choices for you.
Yeah.
Like that's
my thing. Is
lot.
like because Pioneer Days is real simple. I mean, so straightforward. When we played this with your son, he was not even a teenager yet. I don't think, or just turned a teenager. But so it's so simple. And your son's a gamer pretty much, so he gets it. But he loved trolling us.
He does. Yeah, that was his favorite part, is just causing disasters to happen.
Yeah,
so,
and he still beat us.
Yeah, that's how he rolls.
All right.
Next one, Adventure Games, The Dungeon. Specifically that one that was the highest ranked on Boarding Geek. And My Shelfie. Co-designed with Phil Walker Harding, which if you listen to the podcast, you know how much of a fan we are.
You get The Dungeon.
Okay. I am ready. Adventure Games, The Dungeons are kind of a one-off game. It's from Cosmos, which is... They work with Matthew Dunstan a lot. And it works out because they do the same as like the Unlock series. They do a lot, or not Unlock. I'm sorry. They do Exit the game.
I was gonna say Exit.
The Exit series, and they're okay. And they did Echoes, like I was saying earlier. So they're okay with doing one-off games like that. And what I mean by that is like a one-time, you're done. This is played over 3 chapters, and since it is a co-design, the dungeon. I think it's also with Phil Walker Harding, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, all these are Phil Walker Harding.
Yeah, so this is just like a point-and-click adventure game. You have a bunch of different numbers that are on the board. That'll tell you what cards you can get. You have pathways that are out from the room. The boards will be built up throughout it. And you have to delve through the dungeon and figure out how to get out. I mean, that's a common theme that makes perfect sense. I like the fact that since they know that they're making a one-and-done kind of game, they don't throw a lot of like expense into the production.
Yeah.
And I want to be very careful how I say that. They don't make cheap components. Like, they work perfectly fine for what you're doing. You just have a couple standees, you have pretty nicely illustrated cards, and you have a really well-written theme. And so it's not like it's like, all right, well, let's just make everything cheap to pump it out. No, like, that wouldn't work if they did that. Mm-hmm. They took the time and effort to make it as good as they can without charging you like $40 for a one and done game, which some people pay that for, and I get that, but they understand if we can get this out there for like $15 or $20, then more people are going to play it. They're going to have a really good time for a really inexpensive amount. I think it's a great price value, but that does make it inherently not as good of a production as My Shelfie, and it would have had a hard time saying that against it anyway. So.
And it's not even going to win like replay value. It's just...
Right. Yeah.
It's one and done. That is exactly the inherent flaw when we're arguing these things.
Yep.
But all right, we get to talk about My Shelfie, or I get to. Here we go. All right, My Shelfie is what I think one of the more beautiful games on this list, because you have that 3D board type thing, mm-hmm. And you're basically playing Connect 4 in a sense, because you're putting the stuff in your tower and you're trying to make the best puzzle, kind of say. You're trying to get the best groupings. This is going to work over here for me to do this, and you're going to get a lot of points. It's a good co-design with Phil Walker Harding. I enjoy this game a lot, and it looks good when you're done. You're like, oh, I made that, and you feel not successful sometimes. You're like, I was kind of forced to put this in my shelf, and I don't want this here, but hey, it's going to give me some points, so we'll see what happens. Is it a lot in depth? Yes, it's not one of the easiest games here, because you're trying to explain how some of these things are working. A lot of games are trying to go this style. They made a roll and write version of this as well, and then
which is not a design from Matthew Dunstan,
yeah, right. But they've done stuff with this, and it's a neat concept of a game. I need to get back to the table. I haven't played it in a bit, but I do have a good time. But I don't know if it gives me that game immersion that we want. Is the game fun to lose? Yeah, of course. I have a good time playing it, but there's really not a lot of player interaction in it, and there are not really a lot of memorable moments in it, but the art and production value, through the roof. This is by far one of the best production values. It's right up there with the Days of Wonders, Relic Runners. There is some fantastic choices in this one, comparative to the dungeon, because you're trying to figure out which one you're drafting. Do you hate draft? Do you do this? How you could screw the other players when you're trying to get these things? It is pretty simple in my aspect, so I'm good calling it. I think I know which one I want to move on. Going through this off my list, so we'll see.
All right, sounds good. I'm ready when you are.
All right, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
My Shelfie.
Yep. We agree. And the only reason is exactly what. Don't get me wrong. I think the adventure game's way more fun. But if we're not judging it just by fun factor, I like adventure games way more. But we're taking our bias out of it, and yeah, it's the replay value and the art and production that kills it. But again, if we're talking like price per value, which is a totally different like thing. Subjective thing that we could like argue. Like, I mean, bang for your buck. Yeah, I mean, the adventure game is but beyond that, right? But that's not what it's about. It's about what's a better
for me
production.
When it comes to what I gave it in the win is art and production, meaningful choice, and replay value for my Shelfie. Those were my three. The other two were there. That you
game
do
immersion.
Feel,
yeah.
The dungeon is fantastic for that. But yeah, I don't disagree.
Cool. All right. That's it for our quarterfinals.
All right, so we are talking about the first elimination was Scorpius Freighter. It had 1% of the vote. Then an upset here, number 2, Elysium, got eliminated. It had 17% of the vote. It's actually one of our better vote getters, and it got eliminated. Next up was number 6, Relic Runners, who had 1% of the vote. And then finally, the adventure games, The Dungeon, got eliminated. It also only had 1% of the vote.
Yeah, now going into our semifinals, we have Guild of Merchant Explorers versus Roll for Adventure. This will be a tough one for us.
It'll be a tough one for you.
Yep, you're starting us off, so I get some time to think about it.
I get Guild of Merchant Explorer, and I get to think about it. So let me just get this all nice and set up, and boom, here we go. There is a plethora of choices in guilds. The Guild of Merchant Explorers. I always want to call it the guilds. But the thing about the Guild of Merchant Explorers is it is just that. There is a lot of choices for you. And this is my big thing about this game. Yes, you have choices in Roll for Adventure, but you also have arbitrary choices in Roll for Adventure because if you don't roll good, what can you do? If I'm rolling nothing but ones on my dice, and even though I have 6 dice, how is that really going to help us when we need the thing from over there and to like the section of the desert, which is like the 4s and the 5s, and we need that gem over there. And all I'm doing is rolling ones. So there is some mitigation, but it's not that powerful when it compares to stuff. Whereas this one, it's a card flip and then your choice of where you're branching off. Your choice of what special power you're getting between rounds. And then you get to trigger it every time. It's like, ooh, that's a really good power. And this is what we talked about before with other things. Is like, if every power feels like it's overpowered, then it's balanced. And I feel this way with the Guilds of Merchants Explorer. It's like, ooh, that's a really good power. And you're like, that's a great power, but my power is really cool too. I was like, yeah, but I'm triggering water. Yeah, well, I'm triggering treasure, so there's that. And it feels clever. You're like, oh, I did this thing and I feel happy about it. My only gripe for this game is the fact that I have a hard time seeing the actual game, and Board Game Arena fixes that for me. So I don't know if I would go to the physical game ever again because of what Board Game Arena does for me. Other than that, this game is fantastic. Every time I played it, I have a great time. Every time I played it, I remember the memorable moments because, oh, I remember that power because it allowed me to do this, and I triggered this. And so sometimes you're sitting there like, do I draft this again? Or do I try this other overpowered power and see what happens there? So this is a tough one for me because I like both of these games. You ready?
I'm ready. So Roll for Adventure, like I said, this is without a doubt the first 2 points that I just gave away right away. Art and production. It got it, right? Because the physical copy of Guild of Merchant Explorers is virtually unplayable for colorblind people. It really is. And I get how you had art and you were trying to work for it, but the art spills into the hexes, It's not immediately obvious which one it is. You have to really look for it. And if the boards were just slightly smaller, then it makes sense. And especially if the cubes didn't cover up all of the spaces. It's nearly impossible. So that I had to give it a big knock. And then finally, stand-up moments. Yeah, you feel really clever. You have those great cards, But in Roll for Adventure, man, it drips with theme when it comes to that. It feels like a dungeon crawl. You have that tense. You have, like, if it was a zombie theme, right, you would feel the zombies coming and knocking at your door, right? Since it's an adventure game, you know that those monsters are going to, like, trigger all of the bigger ones. Like, the bigger numbers is going to trigger all the smaller ones. It's so cool how it works. Like, sure, you're just hoping, like, a big one doesn't come up, but they're easier to get rid of, they're easier to mitigate, but, you know, it's going to be triggering and bouncing off a lot. So you can't leave that tension too long, and I love that part about it. Now, you're right, it is mitigated based on the dice rolls, and sometimes you lock in your dice in a spot where you know it, if people don't give you that opportunity, your life or your dice are basically your health, and if you have them all out and you never get them back by your turn, you're hurting. Like you've lost your turn, right? And that's
Isn't that one of the last call things?
basically, yeah, and it's like that. There's no coming back from it. And then you have all those the tracks of the skulls that are building more and more on that the monsters are attacking the area. It's not direct conflict, but since everyone's working together, you feel it, and it's great production. I do know which one I think is going to move on, but I love Roll for Adventure.
I've been sitting here and going back and forth on these. I know which one I think I'm going to move on based on what I was doing, but I'll let you take your time if you need it.
Nope, I got it.
All right.
3, 2, 1. Guild of Merchant Explorers. Yep. Yeah.
It's 3-2 to me, and game immersion is, like, I agree with you, art and production game immersion, but the replay value, the length and time is scaling well.
Right, since you're playing simultaneous in guilds.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's a bingo style. Yeah, I couldn't not give it that.
And it's such a simpler game, too.
Right, it is. It is. I'm not saying that Roll for Adventure is difficult.
It's difficult at all. No, I agree.
And that pains me knowing that that's going on.
Hold on, I got to do some little cleanup here. This way I know what I'm talking about here.
And our next round will be Pioneer Days versus My Shelfie. And I'm starting us off.
All right, and you get Pioneer Days.
Okay, sounds good.
Give me a sec and start.
Okay, so as we said earlier, Pioneer Days. This is one of the few that can hold a candle against it as far as art and production to My Shelfie.
Yeah.
My Shelfie has amazing production, but those colorful dice are really clear. The tracks, like, we just literally played a game that has different colored tracks. It's a Stefan Feld game, and they weren't immediately obvious which track was it.
Exceptionally the cubes.
Yeah, especially the cubes in it. It's like, why couldn't you have done that like T.C. Mitchell did? They figured it out. They used the brightest freaking colors they can use to justify what it is. It made perfect sense. I would say like the art and production in this one, I love the style that they used. The art style, all of the pieces make sense. The wagons that you're building out is perfect for what it needs to do. The dice are great. I even like how some of the cards are based off of people in real life, which is kind of fun. Adds some extra little flavor to it. Although the art doesn't perfectly match that. It is what it is. Oh man, but it really does feel like Oregon Trail, the board game. Kids, I know, were tricked into learning when they were growing up by playing Oregon Trail. But everybody has a fond memory of playing it, and it's just because the absurdist idea is like, oh, well, you got dysentery, sorry, get out of here, family member. We lost you. And they even made an Oregon Trail board game, and then they made an Oregon Trail card game, both of which are,
horrible,
blasphemy in comparison. But, actually, no, the board game was decent, but the card game was awful.
Yeah.
But this really brings that out. It's a little more complicated than some of these, I admit, especially more than My Shelfie, but it's oozing with theme. It feels Western, and it made me really, really appreciate the Western theme. I don't think I want to argue it anymore. I love this game for a reason.
Well, you had it 2 arguments in a row, so...
Yeah.
All right, I get to argue My Shelfie.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. The art in the pieces and components are nice in Pioneer Days. I think My Shelfie just takes it a little bit more because they put more into it kind of thing. You have that grid that you're dealing with. You have that really cool toy-esque we talk about all the time on this podcast. I think it gets that for me. And plus the graphic design is very readable. I don't have an issue with Pioneer Days. Or the only thing is like the dice are just dice. there's nothing neat about them. They're just 1 through 6. No.
No, they're screen printed, or they're not screen printed. They're indented with symbols of the actions.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. It's been a while since I played.
So you have the gold nugget action, like
and my thing is,
tools, yeah.
I really don't like the art all that much. The art style is fine. It's just a little too cartoony for what I like, what my westerns to look like, and that is my issue. Is that I like my westerns to look more like a western, like that dusty Silverado, Desperado kind of look, like. Great Western, not Great Western Trail.
Yes,
Western Legends.
Cover. Yeah, sure.
Western Legends. The new cover is nice. The old cover, Western Legends is what I'm trying to go for. I like my westerns that kind of have that theme aspect of it because that's how I grew up. I watched a lot of John Wayne movies with my dad.
Westerns weren't friendly.
Game immersion. Ooh, this is tough for me. I like both of these, but there's more immersion in Pioneer Days. But there's a lot of good, meaningful choice in both of these games. This is a tough one. We got to argue. My Shelfie is a little bit simpler. Not by much, but a little bit simpler. And the replay value, I think, goes into the thing. It just, I don't know. I really don't know how I'm going to go with this one because both of these games are fantastic. Both of these games I enjoy playing. I have one of them. I got rid of one of them. So when it comes to my like personal aspect, I know which one I like more, but based on our criteria, it's a little bit different. So I'm going to take some time over here after when the debate's over just to go through this because this one's a tough one for me.
No, I'm not gonna try and sway you, but there is one thing that I do want to bring up that I didn't bring up during the debate because I wasn't arguing for my Shelfie. In my recent demos of my Shelfie, the shelf has been slightly splitting, and that is causing tiles to like get stuck and like overlap a little bit. Now, it's a small thing. You can clip it back together and like kind of squeeze it in. It mostly fixed it. But I do want to point out that's there.
Yeah, but you also, how many times you do demo that game? Well, it's quite a bit.
I've done it once.
Oh, no, that's on you. You're just hard on your game.
I guess, yeah.
I've never had that issue. I've played it like 2 or 3 times, so.
Yeah, I've just noticed that that's a thing with mine. So, I mean, maybe it's just unique to mine and I just got like a faulty one, but that is a thing that happened to mine. So.
All right, I'm just trying to look here. I think that one's that. That I'm going to have to come back to. That one's that. And I don't know about that one either.
I know the internal dialogue is really fascinating.
All right.
From the mind of a Daniel.
I think I have mine.
Okay, I have mine.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
My
Pioneer
Shelfie.
Days. Okay. We agree game immersion is Pioneer Days.
Yes.
Replay value is Pioneer Days.
No.
Oh, okay. Why?
The length of time is scaling well. I can play my Shelfie a lot quicker.
Sure.
Minimum number of plays for the full experience. That is
halfway through the first game. You've seen all of it.
Yeah. That's my thing. It's like that's the one I do, but the expandability, neither one of them have, so it's more of a wash than anything. But it's just for me the length of time is scaling well.
Well, no, I mean like the way that the characters come out and the way that the dice rolls and how you mitigate stuff that has way more replay. I admit, yeah, it's way shorter for my Shelfie, but Pioneer Days there's no expandability, so that's a wash. But that's fine calling it a wash if we want to call it a wash. It is what it is. But I just like my Shelfie, like you go through the first round of the tiles in front of you, nothing changes for the rest of the game except for like the very small little like little tile cards that come out that you're racing to finish first. But again, like I don't know, that doesn't change the replay value. It's just like
even if we call replay value, for me it's a wash. Okay. So if you want to,
do I do that as a wash then?
Yeah, but it's still 2-2 to me. I think their art and production is better in my Shelfie for me personally.
See, I think it's better in Pioneer Days. Because of that issue that I have with them.
But art and production is better for me. I think my Shelfie is a lot easier to play than Pioneer Days. And,
I agree.
And I think there's more meaningful choice. And so for me, game immersion and meaningful choice go to Pioneer Days. Ease of play and art production go to my Shelfie, and that's why I was like replay value is the one that.
See, replay value was the one that I think there's just more replay value on Pioneer.
All right, so we're calling it a wash.
Let's do it.
All right, we're going to the vote, and the vote has. I didn't grab that one. Okay. Let's look at my Shelfie has 8% of the vote, and Pioneer Days has 13%. So it moves on.
There you go. That's
actually they were kind of split too.
Yeah, that is surprising, to say the least. All right. So now our final will be Guild of Merchant Explorers versus Pioneer Days. So we just heard how much 8% of the vote for my Shelfie. What about Roll for Adventure. How much of a vote did that get?
Roll for Adventure had 1% of the vote.
That's a travesty. Absolutely. Y'all need to go try that game. You just haven't played it. That's all that is. Okay. So this final round, as we said for the finals, we don't debate the sides. We've already debated them twice.
We already know one of the things before we go into it. Art and production?
Art and production immediately goes to Pioneer Days. I mean, without a doubt. But now we're going to break down all of the other
I also say game immersion Pioneer Days.
I agree, yes, because it does feel like a Western game.
Yeah. I think replay value goes to guilds.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah. And I think ease of play as well.
So it comes down to the simplest of things, meaningful choice.
Okay, so let's break down meaningful choice again. So we can do it its due justice. It has three sub-criteria.
Let's go. Impact on other players. Pioneer Days has that hands down.
There's no impact on other players through Merchant.
No, because it's simultaneous play. What are you doing to me on my board? Nothing.
Yeah. Depth of strategy, tactics, or skills.
Now, see, I like that for guilds because your decision space that you're trying to make. Your do I go off over here and try to go to this tangent? And you're thinking your moves ahead, especially after the first round when you get your special power. It's like, okay, I can build off this area, and because I have this special power, I'm going to start doing this way because I can trigger these abilities a lot more going this way.
Sure.
Which is going to give me more points.
I can see that. That's weird, right?
Yeah. Because that is more of a depth of strategy rather than tactics or anything. Because it's like, once you get that tactics, first round...
you know mostly what's coming up, except for like one more card that's added in every round, right? So you know what you're kind of playing with.
Plus, also with your special abilities as well, because now you're like, okay, if I'm doing this, I can trigger this now, so maybe I want to concentrate more on this section.
Okay. You've talked to me, I think it's guilds. Now, arbitrary choices are AP. Now, here's the thing, right? One has dice, but the thing is, it's a dice pool, it's dice drafting, and the actions, like, some are more better than others,
Yeah.
But then that doesn't mean that they're optimal depending on your situation, right? Like, you might have a die that's really beneficial to you, that's less so for me because of what cards are near it or what I'm trying to do. So I love that part of it. My big thing is, like, since you play through the map and you reset it 3 times throughout Guild of Merchant Explorers, if you really mess up one way, like on one of the maps, you're like, well, okay, that's not worth going for now. Then you can change your strategy to the other one. So it's kind of arbitrary in a way, but it develops your tactics for the next round.
Well, see, for me, this is where it's hard for me, because I'm like, this might be a wash for me. Because you have arbitrary choices in Pioneer Days, depending on where you're at in the player order. There might be something that already got drafted, and now you're stuck with these things. So there's arbitrary choices. But we've played Merchants Explorers, and there is a lot of AP in for something that's simultaneous play. Because it's like, I'm ready to move on to the next move, and someone's just still going... just a minute, I'm just sitting there like, come on, simultaneous play. Come on, let's move on. Let's go.
Move it along.
I'm ready to go. I already know what I'm doing here. Yeah. And then also when it comes up to the drafting of those special powers that you're getting, it's like, ooh, but this one and then this one, and the thing is like, we've said it before for the arbitrary or the overpoweredness of it. If everything's overpowered, is there really a choice?
Right.
And so that's why it's like that for me. That part of it is a wash because there's arbitrary choices in one, there's AP and arbitrary choices in another. It's like
okay, I'm okay with calling it a wash because I think that's fair.
Yeah, because that's like, oh man, that one was tough for me. So we're calling that a wash. So it's 2-2, and it's going to go to the vote. And we already know Pioneer Days had 13% of the vote. So what does Guild have? And it has 30% more.
Yeah. 40. Almost half of the voters voted for Guilds of Merchant Explorers.
Honestly, I'm not surprised. As we're going through, people were talking about in the chat or the comments. They really fell in love with it. But I don't disagree. Pioneer Days is a very underrated game.
That's right.
And it needs to come back in print.
They need to reprint Guild of Merchant Explorers and make colorblind friendly AEG. Remember that. I know you paid good art, and it looks pretty. I have no problem against the art. Just, my goodness, make it so I can play it.
Yeah, to the point we don't want to ever play it physically again. We'll play it on Board Game Arena when we want to play it.
Because it tells you where you can and can't place it based on the cards.
But it is a fantastic design by Matthew Dunstan. I think it is it a co-design? I don't remember, or is it just him? Let's check that out real quick.
I don't remember. That's a great question that I would love to answer for you.
Let's go here.
Fairy Tile was good too. Well,
there it is.
I think it's a co-design, but I might be wrong.
It could be with Gilbert, I think.
Yep.
Brett J. Gilbert. Yep. So yeah, Merchants, Guilds of Merchant Explorers, fantastic game. I had a blast doing this one. How'd you feel about this one?
I enjoyed it. Yeah. Although it just pains me that Guilds won just because of that. Like, not because I don't like it, just because it hurts to play.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed this episode. Let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know if me and Daniel are right or wrong, or if you're colorblind, let us know, because tell us if you're having the same problems with some of these games that we do.
All right, one more before we go into the outro. Special episode next week. We need to talk about this real quick. We're going to try to get Gamehead Geek and Damn It Dom on the podcast because it will be our 100th Chits and Giggles episode.
That's right.
Look forward to that next week for our stream and next week for our audio listeners. It's basically the same thing, other than it's a couple weeks ahead of time. But 100 episodes of Chits and Giggles. There's not going to be any topic. We're just going to be talking about the podcast and the stuff that we like, the played, how we've come to what we're doing. So if you're interested, come check us out on Twitch next week, and which will be what's the day? I can't remember. What's the day?
The actual date or when it's airing?
It'll be the 29th of June if you want to join us live.
Yes, please do.
For those in our audience and for our listeners, that one will air, I believe, on the 13th. So comment down below in our YouTubes and stuff like that and tell us your favorite things of the podcast. But get ready, 100 Chits and Giggles.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So, thank you so much for tuning in. If you ever want to email us, you can email us at everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com. Whether that's to enter in future contests, whether it's to give us ideas for upcoming episodes, or whether it's just to reach out and say hello. Also, we have Instagram, instagram.com/everydayboardgames. You can see the games that Daniel and I have been playing together recently, with the exception of the City Collection, because we forgot to take a picture of that. Or other random shenanigans that I tend to post. And finally, we have a Discord. Link is in the description of wherever you are listening to this or watching it live. Go check out our Discord. Chat with us while we're not filming. We'd love to hear from you.
All video re-uploads and reviews, and now gameplay are going to be found under youtube.com/everydayboardgames. And if you like what we do, there are 3 things you can do to help us grow on the platform. Subscribe if you're not, like the video, and comment down below and tell us your thoughts on the subject.
We also stream our episodes live at twitch.tv/everydayboardgames. Make sure you follow us there so you can be notified when we stream our episodes live, and you can join in on the chat. And anybody who was lurking behind today, and anyone who joined us, our friend Crate joined us earlier today as well while we're streaming our episodes live. We love hearing from you.
And all audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast. This includes Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and Apple.
So as always, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
And we want to thank you for listening to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board gaming.